So it's the first day of Readathin, and I am not actually going to be reading today. I have these lovely books on my TBR though. I'm quite ashamed to say that I haven't read most of the books here, but from your physical TBR is probably going to come from this shelf, or no, I haven't read most of these. This shelf. What we have for you is a little project with this, very, very lightly inspired by this. So this is not my finest work, but this is what that yarn looks like knitted up. I'm also going to be pairing it with this, which is darker, yes, but I think this is more in line with the cover of that volume. So we're going to go 14 for the cast on, and then probably 10-15 rows of just the blue. Yeah, that is definitely not right. I do really like that they are a little rougher around the edges than some of the shoujo characters that I read about. I will always love like Kimi ni Todoke, and I understand why people don't. That it's too sweet, or it's, you know, they're still so formal even later on in the series, but like we will save that for that video. But I really like that you get such a sense for who they are and the way that they act and how they are. And I really like that even though she is an asshole, that you can kind of see that person underneath who would be better without all these social pressures. Okay, so I have kind of managed to untangle this. There is so much of it though, I'm not entirely sure it's going to stay untangled all the way through, but that's fine. I am also thinking perhaps actually I should have gone up to 20 because this is pretty narrow for what I want to do. Which is, I mean, I've tried this before with stripes on something that was this narrow and it never, excuse me, it never worked out. So we might have to start again. It's fine if so, but also we are going to put music here because I'm going to podcast, and I'm saying this because I so often forget, and the audio is so low from over here that I just don't realise that you can hear it in the video. So, time for music. On to the last chapter now, and I really love how much growth there is just in these, well, two so far. Unfortunately, my little cover inspired headband is not going so well. So it is cleanup day, and I'm going to turn that into also a little bit of a declutter day with, and these two going through. CDs. Oh, shit. I've been looking for that. Mhm. I brought these through to do a video on some like graphic novels and stuff that I have last year. So we have this one. These are all from like Comic-Con. This is from Katie Whittle. I don't know how clear that's coming up on screen. This one is, I have no idea what this one is. Also from Comic-Con. I just thought it looked really pretty. It is covered in dust. This is actually a comic. Oh, so dusty. Ugh. So this is actually from a Comic-Con in China. I did not attend it, but it's got like lots of fan art and stuff. So it's not just, you know, about the con. Where is... So that's not my favourite. Okay, inside. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, got some bookmarks and stuff in that. Oh, I really like this. I've got the first three. God, the dust. The dust. I really love this person's art style. It's been so long since I've been to Comic-Con. This is actually really interesting. And based on research from the University of Glasgow. Oh, another show guide. This one I did go to. This one I really like colour palette wise. I don't really remember it, with apologies. Oh. Oh, this one's gotten a wee bit wet. That's a shame. Oh, there's a name on it. No, it's not a name. If I find any names, I will try and add them to the description of the video. This is from the Rat Pack Collective, which is a really fun name. Oh, I like this. I like this. And I have another one of those. Oh. Musical. Yeah, that's probably going on eBay. I don't need that. I don't care. Ugh. And then the dustiest of the dusty. Person Comics. Tom Smith and Katie Whittle. And this is a little bit too tight to actually stand, but she's so nice. And I think it's time that she went and joined the others. What a wee shite. So I've been working on a little swatch, a little tester, I'm not sure how I feel about this. It is a little uneven, I guess, to my liking. Obviously, this side looks like it's only one row, and then this side looks like it's 2 rows, which is it is that. It's just what happens when you double knit. So it's more uneven than I would like. It's also a little disappointing doing it this way because I really liked the little like patches of blue and the white, and it's not really showing up with the darker blue yarn, but it's a little bit more workable. I will say I am a little bit. The way that the synopsis talks about it is a little bit not alarming, but a little bit concerning, I guess. It is a shame that all of this knowledge is being lost, but I don't think framing it as like this knowledge versus the like tradition versus technology is helpful, at least not in the way that it was worded. Because like I'm sitting here and I'm interested in it, obviously, and we are filming that like people are not like on opposite sides unless it is a spectrum. So you can kind of see on this side that it sticks out a little bit. I don't know how I did it, but I ended up with 3 stitches rather than 2. Rather than the 2 of this being like doubled up. I don't know how that happened, but it was early enough in the project that I just thought, I'm not going to start again. Besides, this is going to be like the back of the headband. No one's going to see it. No one's going to see it. And I like very rarely have my... When I wear hairbands, I tend to just have my hair down, like nothing else done to it. So it should be fine. It should not betray me. Again, I'm a little bit disappointed that the blue and the white yarn isn't really coming through. But we're still very early on, yet it's only row 25. I did in fact set today aside for reading. I'm not quite sure if this counts as a refreshing snack. It is leftover spinach and chickpea curry. Really nice actually, but maybe a little heavy for a snack. So today's a little bit of a detour in that I'm also taking part in the full moon readathon, and for that I'm reading 2 books. The first is Bone Crier's Moon, and then the second is Bone Crier's Dawn, which I haven't started for obvious reasons. But because it's a duology, I thought I would mention, since this is also going to count for like catching up with or finishing a series. So I originally had today marked down as like, take a weekend for yourself, but I think I'm going to leave that till next week, which is probably a really bad move because that's the full weekend conference, and exactly how much I'm taking for myself is debatable. But I've done my NaNoWriMo winner shirt. It was bullshit at the end, but gonna see if I can try and get this fucking book written. Yeah, I'm starting to be not so sure about this one. It is in full wonderful swing, and Mum has very kindly made me some nibbles. Day 2, nibbles. Oh, thanks to Mum. This is really depressing the more I read it, because it's like the lost countryside wisdom. People don't know what a mule is. People don't know the life cycles of like butterflies and frogs. Frogs have 3 life stages. And like I couldn't tell you what the ages were specifically when like a foal becomes a colt, becomes a stallion or a mare. Although like obviously a gelding is not as connected to life stages, but like people don't know that. People don't know that bats use echolocation. Like, I'm not saying this information shouldn't be in the book, but the title was really, really depressing. So the lamp has been moved because I realised that I didn't actually properly declutter. Shit, I think that needs a bit of a clean too. Yeah, so we are gonna be dealing with this bit here for the moment because I am not at all ready to deal with this bit here or this mess here. So I just noticed this little sticker, which explains why it was in plastic in the first place, but like, man, that makes me feel something in this here day and age. There is no point, and for no reason, that I will not badmouth Seven Seas, but with like the crackdowns and the arrests of authors, yeah, I don't know. I hate that they are the monopoly. So this is just a little closing statement wrap up for the readathon. I did think I was going to do better than I did, but unfortunately, the good vibes did not last the month. I'm still reading Red Sky at Night, and it is a lot more interesting as I move further through it because it moves on to a little bit more practical things, like how to set a fire, what like vegetables to plant together, which is a little bit. I do think it's interesting seeing like what birds come during which season, but I cannot visualize the differences between the birds that well, so I do wish it had a little bit more illustrations in it. Unfortunately, we did not finish more of this, which probably is actually for the best, because I think I've been thinking about the cover of the manga, and she's wearing a scarf, and I think it would be better in a scarf because then there would be more room to play with. With it being like wider, you would see the little bits of colour in the white better. So yeah, I'm gonna just finish this off and start again. I'm just gonna tie it up. I'm not gonna like pull it out. I think for me anyway, this is a technique that I used in another project which is currently ongoing, and so I would like to see, because there's so many of them, if tucking them in actually works, or if this is a little bit too much, in which case I need to go back to the drawing board on that as well. So it is a very good thing to have done, and I'm glad I did it. As well as the readathon, I am sad I didn't hit more of the prompts, but I had a good time. The decluttered books have gone onto the declutter shelf rather than directly out the door, but we will see. I have a thing in mind for next year. That might not happen, but it would be lovely if it did. Anyway, thank you to the hosts for hosting. I had a good time.